So Trump signs an executive order banning transgender athletes from women's sports. Oh my gosh. This is one of those things. This is so controversial. There's so many people who really believe that biological men should be fighting against our girls in boxing matches, or, just going into volleyball games and then spiking balls into girls' faces and giving them concussions, or I don't know. You think of anything. How about field hockey? You guys know any 280-pound dudes that want to call themselves Sally and go run girls into the pavement? Now, I'm calling an audible here. Before we even get into the details of Trump banning this, we're going to look at one of the most unbelievable examples of a trans athlete in women's sports, because this one is insane. This girl tried to injure her own teammate and didn't even get reprimanded by the school. She conspired with people on the other team to try to injure her own teammate. Okay? In what scenario would that person remain on the team? Not to mention, shouldn't be on the team in the first place. Okay, so we're gonna go through this first, and then we're gonna get into the executive order. But it's important to start here so that you understand what the issue at hand is, so that when people go, "Oh my God," blah, 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 it's like, dude, you really think this is cool? Now, this is about to get a lot crazier, but I'm going to tell you about an incredible sponsor first, and I mean that. I stand by these guys 100%. I love spring. It's been freezing, now it's warm, and I'm going to be outside listening to music on my new Raycon earbuds. I talked to you guys about them during Christmas. I hope a lot of you guys got them, because this is the best present you will ever get, and you should get it for yourself because they are so inexpensive and they are so sick. You have every single feature in these, and the sound is better than any of the mainstream brands that I've owned and paid 3 times more for. Even since last time we talked about it, they have a bunch of new features that are even better than the last pair. Raycon's everyday earbuds, you get 32-hour battery life. You can connect to multiple devices, and they come with active noise canceling. And I'm telling you, the active noise canceling in these is fire. Exceptional. But of course, what's the most important feature? The sound. And the sound on these does not make sense for the price. Doesn't make sense. How are they better than the ones that cost $300? Now, when it comes to earbuds, I have an affliction, okay? If they don't have a hook that goes inside your ear or over the ear, they do not fit in my ears, except for Raycon. Look, bam, they fit. I don't know why. What I do know is that 3 million people voted them the most comfortable earbuds on the market. Here's another thing. When I'm on airplanes, I always eat through the battery life on my earbuds. Except with Raycon, you can charge them for 10 minutes and you'll get 90 minutes of battery life. So go to buyraycon.com/JesseOnFire to get 20% off site-wide. That's right, you'll get up to 20% off everything on Raycon's website, and that's including 20% off all headphones too when you go to buyraycon.com/JesseOnFire. And again, just assume that they are better than the $300 pair that you probably have at home, and then look at the price when you get there. Okay, let's listen to this and we'll discuss.
Controversy for the San Jose State University women's volleyball program over a transgender teammate. The issue has garnered national attention.
Just last week, a class action lawsuit was filed against the university and the NCAA, calling for transgender women to be banned from college sports.
A team captain who joined the lawsuit and the only one to speak publicly about the issue, Brooke Slusser, agreed to sit down with KTVU's Bailey O'Carroll to discuss her position.
I feel like there's so many emotions that go into all of it, like anger, sadness, like regret, just like of all schools for me to end up at, why this one?
Brooke Slusser, a co-captain on the San Jose State women's volleyball team, is in her senior year, and she's getting more attention for what she's doing off the court than her performance on it, but she says she wouldn't change that. The Spartans' season has been overshadowed by controversy surrounding a transgender teammate who Slusser says she once lived with and called a friend.
I think all of me and my roommates were pretty good friends the whole time.
But Slusser says the two have never had a conversation about her teammate being transgender. Instead, she referred to it as the elephant in the room and says the university told her and other teammates not to bring it up.
I just don't think it's right in women's sports. It has nothing to do with the way someone wants to live their life day to day. That's not an issue. I think live the way you want to live. But just when it comes to the fairness and safety of women playing, there's a reason that there's 2 different divisions for men and women.
Yeah, and listen, this particular sport and this particular biological man who is in this sport is injuring other girls, injuring them many times, like is spiking these balls straight into their face. Okay. Those, I mean, I'm sure, probably doing it on purpose, but nonetheless, and that's not even the part where this other girl was going to be injured, as part of a conspiracy. Okay. Let's continue.
Class action lawsuit filed last week, Slessor claims her rights and safety have been jeopardized by sharing a court with her transgender teammate. When asked about how and why she felt unsafe, Slessor said,
The height that the person can jump is so much higher, and honestly higher for a man. It's insane. And then the strength behind the ball when they're swinging is also just so much more powerful.
But her transgender teammates' stats don't appear to give the Spartans a dramatic upper hand. The San Jose State women's volleyball team is ranked 119th nationally. But nonetheless, Slessor claims safety is one of her top concerns.
What on earth are you talking about? How would the college ranking have anything? It's one player. Let's continue so we can get into the conspiracy because it's unbelievable.
There's many times for multiple people all the time that we're having to try and dodge the balls that are coming straight at our face. And I've been hit multiple times by the balls, and I've had bruising on my legs just from trying to dodge it, and it catches my thigh, and I've had a bruise on my thigh for...
Trying to dodge balls coming straight at your face? I'm just kidding. Come on, dude. I'm not a perfect person. And I'm also, yes, I am 5 years old.
Weeks.
Bumps, bruises, and minor injuries are common in Division I volleyball, as is practicing against men. But when pressed, Slessor said she's never been injured to the point of coming off the court.
This is amazingly slanted horseshit reporting because, hey, I have an idea. Why don't you point to the trans player on the court and then let's watch them hit the ball in comparison to everyone else, because that's what we're going to do next.
In total, there are approximately 500,000 female athletes in the NCAA.
By the way, okay, let me show you which one it is, okay?
Athletes in the NCAA.
Oops. Sorry. It's this girl right here on the far left, number 3. It's a trans person over there, number 3, okay? Now, you could kind of even already just see the jawline. Now, let's just see in their highlights how many times they show number 3 hit the ball.
Trans female athletes account for less than 50.
This is an important conversation for us to have.
Sid Ziegler, a co-founder of Outsports.com, an LGBTQ-focused publication, says it's a discussion that needs to be had.
And I'm sure that they're definitely going to cover the part where the trans player intentionally tried to injure her own teammate. Right? That's going to be in this, right? Seems like a pretty relevant part of the story.
I've been running Outsports for 25 years. I've written about trans athletes over 2 decades before anyone was talking about it. For me, it's important for every athlete to have a path to inclusion.
He added that in this particular case, the issue should not be with the San Jose State volleyball player, rather the governing bodies.
This athlete is not the problem. If you have an issue with this athlete competing, your issue is with the NCAA.
Okay, first of all, that's true. Right up until that athlete tries to injure her teammate. Okay, God, injure their teammate and then has no repercussions whatsoever because why? What would the repercussions be for any other NCAA athlete in the history of the NCAA if they did that? And nothing happens?
And USA Volleyball, bring it up with them.
Since becoming the only member of the San Jose State women's volleyball team to speak out, Slessor has become the face of the controversy. This season, 6 teams have chosen to forfeit matches against the Spartans.
I think the biggest...
Oh, yeah. 6 teams refused to play against them, by the way, in case that's slightly relevant.
This issue is, one, it's not safe, like with what we've talked about. It's just no woman's ever going to have that strength and power that they have. And 2, they're taking opportunities and scholarships and medals away from women that have worked their entire lives for it.
KTVU reached out to San Jose State University.
No comment. Okay, now watch this though. I just scoured all of YouTube for a Blair Fleming, who is the player, highlight reel. You cannot find one. They are not in existence. Come on, dude. Okay, that has been searched 10 billion times. A highlight reel for the trans player on San Jose State, I am telling you, has been searched a million times. There's not, they don't exist. You think that is like, there is a video for everything that everybody wants. Give me a break, okay? So let me tell you what that actually means. It means that it's being suppressed. Now, I found this one because we're fair on this channel, okay, I found this one. This is the Blair Fleming spike injury, all right? Now watch this, okay, because this is bullshit in the other direction.
Goes cross court and a big rally here to start the fourth. And Taylor Underwood.
Okay, so that's the big injury from her spike. His spike. Fuck. From his spike, okay? The girl hurt her ankle, okay? Now, I do want to point out that when you look at number 3, that's a man. That is looking very manly right there, right? Number 3 is like, yes, girls. Listen, ladies, that's how I spike it. That's how I spike it in her face. And you know what? There's going to be more where that came from. My jawline is telling you that's more. But bottom line is, that's not an injury caused from the spike. But I don't think that is an accident, okay? Like, look, Blair Fleming highlights, videos. Where are the highlights? Where are the highlights? Okay, highlights from a game. Blair Fleming breaking boundaries at okay, I have to watch this. I'm sorry. We gotta hear this. Okay. This is gonna be hilarious, I bet.
San Jose State's women's volleyball team, as it is being reported that a member of the team is a trans athlete. And this is hands down the craziest story in sports right now, because not only are games being canceled left and right, and now a co-captain of the San Jose State team is joining a lawsuit which would ban players such as Blair Fleming from playing in NCAA sports.
Yeah.
And the co-captain is still playing on this team. They're practicing together. This is Blair Fleming of San Jose State Volleyball. In 2020, Blair played on Coastal Carolina. After a law banned trans athletes from playing in South Carolina, Blair Fleming transferred to San Jose State. In 2023, Brooks...
I didn't even know that. That's hilarious, dude. All right, so now let's just go over to look at where she tried to injure the girl. All right, so let's just watch right here. This is one where Blair Fleming spikes the ball straight in this girl's face, and you can get an idea of what we're looking at here.
They'll have to continue to look forward as they trail by 10 points here. Fleming!
Just straight into her grill. So that girl got injured. Now, what I am really starting to find very curious is that I cannot find anything about this story. The Fleming spikes were traveling 80 miles an hour, which is faster than she'd ever seen a woman hit a volleyball. Yeah. This is insane. Like, you cannot find anything about Blair conspiring to injure her teammate. Never mind. Here it is. Okay? Here it is. Colorado State's Malila Jones, the Mountain West Player of the Year, led the game with 26 kills after kneeling during the national anthem before the match. Jones was also alleged to have conspired with Fleming in a plan to spike a ball in the face of San Jose State teammate Brooke Slusser in a game on October 3rd, according to a lawsuit filed by Slusser and a Title IX complaint. Slusser was never spiked in the face, and the Mountain West concluded the investigation into the Title IX complaint, saying it did not find sufficient evidence of wrongdoing. Slusser's attorney has questioned the validity of the investigation. Fleming, meanwhile, led San Jose. Okay, so this is what I'm saying. They literally, they got, I mean, from what I read, they proved that they had conspired to do this to the girl who had filed the complaint, and nothing happened to Fleming. Okay, you guys can look into it more if you want. I could not find, it took me forever to find something on it, look into it more, and now we're going to move on to Donald Trump just crushing this entire thing. Listen, when Lia Thomas was breaking all those records, all of us were like, this is totally legit. This is super legit. Wait, I'm sorry. Lia was a boy when? How long ago? They're all, well, he still has an intact penis. You're all, so he's a boy now. They're all, you transphobic sicko. You're all, well, I mean, what? You are a transphobic sicko. You're all, he's a transphobic sicko. Yes. Well, I think what you just said was Lia has a penis. Right. A sheenus. A sheenus. A sheenus. A sheenus. Yes. Okay. Well, I heard a rumor that the girls on the team felt uncomfortable because he is still attracted to women, even though he's pretending to be a girl, and his, genitals are erect sometimes, watching them change. And when they complained to the school sent them to sensitivity training so they could get their mind right because they were the ones in the wrong versus the freak weirdo who is sitting there eyeballing them naked while being sexually attracted to them, and 6'5", a man breaking every single record. I mean, guys, what are we talking about here? President Trump is expected to sign an executive order Wednesday banning transgender athletes from competing in girls and women's sports, the latest in a string of executive orders from the new administration taking aim at LGBTQ rights. That is absolutely hilarious. Taking aim at LGBTQ rights. How about taking aim at people who want to threaten women's rights and Title IX? How about that? Okay? It's just ridiculous, dude. The order, which Trump is expected to sign Wednesday afternoon, coincides with the National Girls and Women's Sports Day, which is recognized annually in February to celebrate the accomplishments of female athletes. The Women's Sports Foundation, which co-founded National Girls and Women's in Sports Day in 1987, has opposed categorical bans on transgender athletes, saying such policies limit opportunities and harm the development of both cisgender and transgender girls and women. Oh, is that right? Hey, explain to me how they limit the development of cisgender girls. I hate that word, by the way. Go ahead and run me through your brilliant logic on how it's limiting cisgender girls in their development in sports. Ridiculous. The organization did not immediately return a request for comment on Trump's forthcoming order. That's because they know that even though they were trying to stay on the right side, of this, before, because they were terrified, they're all, we shouldn't say what we really think because we'll get killed. We'll get killed online. And it's like, hey, what do you think now? What do you think now? Okay. Now that it's been revealed that there was 5% of the population, none of which are actual athletes, who were making all of the noise, and everyone else was just scared of them unnecessarily because it was just a make-believe, forced consent situation. Well, yeah, we think the boys should probably stay in their own thing. Oh, right. Okay. On the campaign trail, Trump promised repeatedly to ban transgender athletes from sports if he were reelected. During a town hall event in Georgia in October, Trump signaled he would do so through an executive order. The president bans it. Trump said in response to a question about how he would handle the transgender issue in women's sports, "You just don't let it happen. Not a big deal." I mean, can I ask you guys a serious question? Any of you guys who voted for Trump, or if you were kind of on the fence and now you're like, you're watching, you're like, I can't really make up my mind. I mean, I can't imagine many people feel like that, but this is like the best answer ever. Okay. What would you, on the campaign trail, what would you do about transgender athletes in sports? President bans it. Transgender issue, you just don't let it happen. Not a big deal. Just like that. Like, no big deal, dude. Not a big deal at all. Most Americans believe transgender athletes should not be allowed to compete on sports teams that match their gender identity. Wait, transgender? Yeah. A 2023 Gallup poll found it. Wow, shocking. According to AP VoteCast, a survey of 120,000 voters nationwide, more than half of voters in the 2024 election, including a majority of Trump voters, said support for trans rights in government and society has gone too far. Yeah, you think? Why don't you tell us what the results for this particular one were? Okay. Hey, what percentage of people wanted transgender athletes to play against girls or fight against girls? The exact number of transgender athletes participating in school sports in the U.S. is unknown. While more than half of states have adopted policies to stop them from competing, lawmakers have often struggled to cite specific examples of trans athletes in their state. That's funny. Pretty sure we led this entire video off with a prime example of an egregious situation with a trans athlete. In rejecting Utah's 2022 trans athlete ban, Republican Governor Spencer Cox wrote in a veto message that the state's High School Activities Association had identified only 4 trans student athletes that year, none of them that had the subject of complaints from students, families, or administrators. How is that relevant? I don't understand. How is that relevant? 4 kids and only one of them playing girls' sports. Okay, so then what are we talking about? And you're talking about Utah? Shocker. Oh, really? Not a lot of dude, you're not even allowed to get tattoos if you're Mormon, dude. Like, what are we talking about? They talk about Utah. 4 kids who aren't dominating or winning trophies or taking scholarships. 4 kids, like, God, this is just such skewed, nonsensical reporting. Rarely has so much fear and anger been directed at so few. In December, NCAA President Charlie Baker, a former Republican governor of Massachusetts, told a Senate panel that there are fewer than 10 transgender athletes he is aware of who currently compete in college sports, accounting for less than 0.002% of NCAA athletes nationwide. So that it should be easy to ban them. Right? If it's really only fewer than 10, then it should be easy to ban them. And if it's fewer than 10, and we have the examples that we know of, then obviously the whole thing is wrong, right? Baker, who has faced mounting pressure from Republicans and conservative organizations to ban transgender athletes from college sports, said he would not adopt such a policy because federal courts have consistently sided with participation. But he would be open to Congress to create federal standards of eligibility. The National Association of Intercollegiate Athletics, which oversees lower-level collegiate sports at 241 mostly small colleges across the country, approved a policy barring most transgender women in competition. Okay, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing about all of that, right? Is it's not just how many there are. I don't trust their stats anyway, but it's not even about that. I'm not saying that there are or aren't more people. What I'm saying is that it has uncovered a cultural thing at the college level that is unacceptable, okay? And I will keep on coming back to the Lia Thomas case, okay? These girls were 18 years old, 18, all right? High school seniors 5 minutes ago, and are now in a locker room with a person with an intact phallus that is erect, watching them change. And when they go to the school and complain, the school sends them to sensitivity training. You need to get used to the new world where you have to look at aroused, erect penises looking at you when you are bending over naked to change into your swimsuit. That's your fault, ladies. It's like, what are you talking about? What are we talking about, dude? The world's gone nuts. And this is exactly why Trump is able to do whatever he wants, and there's nothing they can do about it because of stuff like this. Like, if you still really believe that Trump won the landslide that he did because groceries were too expensive, you have no idea what you're talking about. You don't understand culture, and it doesn't really matter because you lost, and you lost decisively, and now the world is turning into some nightmarish hellscape for you, while all of us are very happy with him, just taking a chainsaw to all of the things that you hold dear. So that's what I have, and that is because you guys took a chainsaw to what we hold dear, like protecting the girls in our society. Now, if you made it this far in the video and you have not subscribed, I'll just remind you right now, it is very helpful to the channel. I would appreciate it if you would do that. Like the video, ring the bell if you want to know when I upload, and that is what it is. I love you guys. Bye-bye.